All right. I think we got it this morning. How are you this morning? I hope you are so well. Really nice to have you with me here. Fasting Space. Here I am showing you a scene from the country. Little photo that, well, this is the first frame of the video. I'm just getting it loaded up. Took a little video out in the country of where I have my goats. I'll be doing some thinking about happiness today, and something that has brought me some happiness. Working in the country with the goats, watching them munch up this land. Here it comes. There we go. So here we're looking off into the woods that is full of buckthorn and wild roses and honeysuckle and so many things. And then I cut a path through the woods. You see the fence coming through, and then you see the other side where the goats are over here. Now, they ate everything in this paddock, and so I cut down a tree and throw it into them, and they run right over to munch it up. And I spent a chunk of time yesterday getting these fences moved over to move them into the next spot so they can keep chewing through the woods. They were getting hungry. I think they ran out the day before. They ate the last little bush. And so it's so funny. You throw a whole little tree in there and they'll just munch the whole thing up. So there you go with the goats. I wanted to try to get the video when we moved them over, but I ran out of time because I had to get back for a consult. And I was like, I got to get my camera packed up, and I got to get this fence over, and I got to have the goats something to eat. So we'll see them munching through this, and then I had some footage at the start where they were just hanging out and waiting around for a little hand to get into the next pasture. Today we're talking about a mental shift, outsmart hunger. We'll see if goats using that. I think the goats were a little hungry as we were trying to get into the next paddock. Goats pretty content in general. That's been my experience. They're pretty happy creatures. Sometimes they headbutt each other a little bit, like you throw a new tree in, that big brown one there, come and push its way in, especially with the littler ones. And it'll munch a bit, and then it'll take off, and then the littler ones come in. I want to frame our thinking today with this mini quote. I got my mini book of mini quotes. This book, Open Your Mind, Open Your Life. This is just one sentence, another one sentence. It says, everything people say or do is ultimately rooted in the belief that those actions will lead them to happiness. That's the whole quote. Do you think it's true? I was reflecting on it. It's at least true most of the time. Everything people say or do is ultimately rooted in the belief that those actions will lead them to happiness. Let's dive in and think about it. We're going to lead our way toward the happiness hack. As I was saying it, how do we take this idea? Everything, is it true? As I was trying to stress test it yesterday, I was thinking through it. I was like, well, like even if things aren't good, we're dealing with some bad situation. Like we're trying to make it better. We're trying to work through it. We don't like it. Or any decision we make, it's like, well, we make a decision because we want something to come of it. We're here in our health space. We're trying to move in a direction that is positive, healthy, grounded, centered, and joyful, I say. We've done some thinking. When we think about happiness, one session we did, we were talking about, is it better to just try to find contentment? But they were saying there too, contentment, a place also to find happiness, maybe at a more grounded level. So I think even in that state, however we're doing it, however you define happiness, a state of positivity, satisfaction. Here, fasting space, we're in this intersection, dietary space. Food is such a huge part of this sort of thing. Food can bring a lot of happiness, can't it? And that's a good thing. And so we're here in this space. Try to think about what is the relationship we have with food and how do we find happiness to it across all domains and time frames. And I think this is the big thing that we want to lean into. Say leaning in, that makes me think, here we are, Friday, last day, Lean In Challenge. How was it for you? We did a month. Hard to believe a month has gone by. 4 weeks. Think of the thinking that we've done. Lean into some fasting space. We started it out with a challenge, +1. Just try to add in an hour if you're trying to get into a fasting space. Can you go just +1 on it? Lean in a little bit, and then, of course, open it up as it feels good, but never forced anything. Summer weight loss process, I said, also lean into every other good thing. Easier to lean into good food in the summer that is usually lower carb, usually less processed stuff. Get some fresh veggies. Get something off the grill, a protein veggie. That is a great weight loss combo. That's what I have experienced personally and with people. Try to cut out the extra carbs, Lean into that space. Have an extra serving of veggie, Leave the, leave the roll. If somebody's got a bowl full of rolls, leave them for someone else. Or if you're planning the meals, just leave that off. Say, I'm going to grill up some extra veggies on the grill. Or however you do it. These are the things to lean into summer. Make hay while the sun shines. Be active while it is so much easier to do it. At least, especially up here, it's not frozen in the north. And we've got some beautiful days here. And have it a heat wave even. Maybe you got to be active early before it gets too hot. Leaning in. These are the processes. Main barrier to that's what we're going to talk about. Happiness hack. When we're trying to lean into it, especially that fasting space, you say, well, hunger can be there. Is that the biggest barrier? What is your biggest barrier to it? If you're leaning into a fasting space or any sort of weight loss path, what are your biggest barriers? Let me know. I'd love to hear. But a hunger experience, that's the big barrier to fasting space, is like we're used to eating in a space. We're going to say no, probably going to feel hungry. Body is saying, oh, what is going on here? Like we were planning for the food coming in. Look, we primed up the acid pumps. We've got, because it takes a little bit to get the digestive system online. One of the benefits of a fasting space is that we can just shut that down for a while, let the GI system go into rest and repair mode, let it build back up that stomach lining that can get scraped and acidified and all this stuff. Say, just let it take care of itself for a little bit. It does so much work taking care of us, breaking up all the food that comes into it into atomic particles, absorbing and sterilizing, organizing, getting everything where it needs to go. And we say, oh, just take a little break there. Take a break. But it doesn't know we're doing it yet. And so it's like, oh, we're hungry. But that comes in a wave, right? Have you experienced that? Hunger is not a straight line that is ever increasing. That's what we fear it is. That's what can make it so difficult. Is like in the moment it feels like, because we've felt it ramping up, and then it's like, oh, is this going to stop? This is getting a little unpleasant. And it absolutely can. Big process that I want to help. Part of a mental shift, all right, here's a mental shift. How do we both mentally and physically shift the hunger experience over into a way that is more manageable, more under our control, less intense? Not like that bossy goat coming in and smashing the other one out of the way. Like the smaller goats, they're so nice. You're not going to see keto and paleo coming over and smashing people with their horns, okay? They just go, they find some little things somewhere else, and when the other ones come in, they'll go and, there's enough. Think about happiness. Think about short-term happiness. Think about long-term happiness. We're trying to balance these things. Short-term hunger can come to feel okay when we feel it. Sometimes we can develop a very, very powerful mindset, a total mindset shift. Like, oh, this is the feeling of the system coming back into balance. This is what it feels like to turn on autophagy systems and start cleansing things in the system, just like the goats are doing. And we did that talk the other day. Explaining autophagy. Who does it better, me or the goat? And when you see what the goat's doing to this place, I showed the beginning of the video, you see the forest in the edge, dense forest, and then where are the goats? Just completely cleaned out. Trees are still there. All the nasty stuff getting chewed up. But you want to do that in the cells. Clean that out. Okay, when we see, I want that effect happening in the body. Feel that system turning on. It's a powerful system. You say, oh, this hunger is intense. I feel it. Oh, powerful system is turning on here. Gonna bring things back into balance and ride that wave and come through it. Okay, now in the short term, what if that's too intense? See, would eating something feel better in the moment? It probably would. And it may very well be the right thing to do. So never any pressure. This is a big thing I'm trying to bring to a fasting space. No pressure to it, just an open and voluntary space. But think about leaning into it. Think about the other side of it after the wave has crested and come down. A fasting space can also lead to happiness. So eating in the short term can lead to happiness in the short term. Not eating, even if it's challenging, when it's the right moment, if you're called to it and not stressed by it, can also see that that can lead to happiness. And it can be a longer term happiness, a more durable happiness based on a delayed gratification, right? That can mean confidence and to say, hey, I am not so stuck in this space. Look at what I was able to do. I flowed through a space and hunger diminished and I feel stronger. Here I flipped over. This footage I actually filmed first. This was before I started giving him those trees. And we just see him hanging out, munching on some little stuff. Wait until we switch him over. Both things are good, okay? Short-term happiness, not a bad thing to have. Long-term happiness, also a fantastic thing to have. We're starting to see this framework, if you believe the quote that we were talking about, that all of our decisions are rooted in happiness. Now we can start to get to the idea, what kind of happiness are we seeking? This is going to how we start to build out our little hack. What kind of happiness are we seeking here? What time frame are we operating on for the happiness, and why, and are we okay with it? Think of fasting in this sort of space. I like to think of fasting as an investment. I did that session, Fasting Wealth, building up this reserve of fasting for ourselves. We're just collecting it as we're doing it. Investing, think today, investing in a higher tier of happiness. Maybe things like mental clarity. Have you felt that in the fasting space? Oh, we push through and there is clarity coming. That is a fascinating space. Oh, there's energy on the other side of it. Sometimes we're hungry. We can feel low energy because like the system is running out on that short-term thing. Body's saying, okay, we need to eat something here or we're going to have to turn on our longer-term system. Have you made it through that? And all of a sudden you're in a fasting space. And then there's like, oh, there's energy here. Then there's focus, and then start to build some good vibes going in the body. Many ways we can invest in that process, try to get a return off that sort of process. Maybe it's some other sort of personal goal. Say, I want to fit into something that I used to wear, and how much happiness does it bring to achieve a goal of something like that? Or maybe it's a medical situation like insulin resistance that you're dealing with. You say, I want a metabolic effect happening in my body, right? How happy is it to attain something like that and to see it? And so these are the time frames we're operating on, a short-term time frame, a long-term time frame. And so one of the ways to start to do it is to envision our future self. Say, how do I make decisions that are affecting the happiness of my future self? We got a future self and we got a present self, and this is the balance. And this is what I think is the thoughtful way to bring things into our fasting space. If eating is the right decision for present me, say, hey, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, let's do it. But if you're feeling in a space, you say, this is the mental shift. We try to say, can I kind of shift the goal of my happiness? Think of our quote. Every decision we're making, we're trying to make ourselves happy. Which one, now or the future? Does delaying our eating open up more happiness, more total happiness in life? If we can get into some of these longer term spaces, longer term goals that help us to do it. Something you've been working on for a very long time. To crack the code, pick the lock, open the space to let the energy that the body is storing out. Be able to feel it, the flow. Oh, the body is unlocking now. We've stopped the flow of energy in. We can feel it coming out. And can we get into that space, find happiness in it and through it? Remember, we said sometimes in this cycle, many things in life actually a cycle. We tend to think linearly, but then we try to shift into the cycle. Realize, oh, fasting space, kind of hard. We recognize it, we accept it, and actually by not fearing it, taking our fear out, accepting it, is actually the process, the mental shift to find the flow state in it. There's a fasting flow state where we get into it and then it disappears and it fades back and we're just living. Body's providing the energy for us. We're doing whatever else we want. We're staying active or we're not being active, whatever feels right. We either said the other day, you could take a weight loss vacation. I loved that thought. Weight loss vacation and sit on the beach drink a coffee or sparkling water. So watch the ocean, watch the lake, and the energy will flow out. It could be a totally active vacation if you want. I did a lot of fasting on my very, very active hiking vacation, North Carolina, hiking up mountain after mountain, day after day. Fasting space. So here's the two extreme ends, and you could have anything in between. You could have a beach vacation and then just take a little stroll along the beach, So that's sounding incredible to me. Just think about that process. Get out of our routines a bit. And if you're not in a space, you say, my work schedule, my things, I don't have any more vacation time. I think of this quote from Marcus Aurelius. I have to paraphrase. I shared it once a long time ago. It's like basically everybody wants to head off to a cabin in the mountains or their seaside retreat. But how much better to retreat into your own self. Have a meditation space. He says this is where true contentment and happiness lies. To paraphrase. Marcus Aurelius, remember, he's like Roman emperor. He's got a tremendous wealth and resources, and he's writing meditations. He wasn't trying to write a book. He's just writing notes to himself to keep himself on track. And, just think of his mindset. He's like, you don't need to go. He's got a mountain place, and an ocean place, But he's like, look, we're going to be better off. Just probably take some deep breaths and get into a space of contentment in our own mind. There's a mental shift. Oh, man. So we're trying to get our hunger hack. We're trying to create a mental shift. We are in a space. Hunger is there. We're thinking about this quote. You see the things we're weaving together. Happiness is going to be the decision one way or the other in the short term or the longer term. And we're trying to balance it. Which one is winning and which one do we want to win? We're thinking about our future self. Here's what I'd call, if you don't like happiness hack, I put, happiness hack, happiness check-in, whatever you want to do. You're coming to a space where you're eating. Doing a check-in. Where is the happiness? That would be the thing. I think a good thing to think about. I think we flow through a lot of times. We have so much automatic decision-making, so much habits and routines that we're just going through a space and it's like, what is even happening? And we did that session back last year, automatic decision making. How do we get into the loop? How about a happiness check-in? Where's the joy? Is the joy in the eating right now? Is the joy in the longer term space? And is that the mental shift? Even just taking a few moments, because bringing in a mindfulness, this is a mindfulness technique. Happiness check-in. Like, we care about our happiness. This is something very thoughtful. Say, am I actually experiencing happiness here? And what we can see, okay, sometimes it's like, no, I'm planning on eating here. Look, this is the thing to do. Now we can really dial in and enjoy it. I want everybody, when we're eating, to have the most enjoyment for food as possible. I've got the video on the channel, Fasting for Food Lovers. It is like, when we are like creating a space without food, help to highlight the beauty and importance of the food that we are eating. So good. All right, so there's the joy. And then we're in a space where like, no, I wasn't planning on doing this. I don't know that this is my best choice. It's like, I wanted this. We shift it. Look, the happiness. Now we can be looking toward the light. I loved that session. Look toward the light. Didn't we do? Look toward the happiness. Help to focus on it. Take the joy of the future self and bring it into the present. And now we have win-wins. Now we're getting win-wins. If we can be experiencing the future joy in the present. Pay it, backwards or forwards, whatever way you look at it, to ourself. There's a check that you can write before it's like cashed, It's like cash before it's written. There you go. Bring that future joy into the present, and now we have it in both places. That's beautiful. Now we're starting to experience the joy of fasting. We got joy of eating in its proper space. Future benefit coming from fasting. And fasting, we see it, and then we start to feel it, and we're working that cycle. We see the difficulty and the flow. It's the mindset shift. Never fasting as a deprivation. Never fasting as punishing our way to health. Always fasting as openness. Fasting as joy. Fasting as happiness. That's the only way to do it. Even when it's difficult. If it's too difficult, if it's crossing a line, then we find the joy somewhere else. If we're right on the line and we're in the struggle, we use this tool. We think of our future self and our current self together, our total being. And we do our very best, having much grace and compassion for ourselves. What is my best choice in this moment? What is resonating most with my being and the total happiness across life? I just love listening to this trumpet. If you like this trumpet, if you want to hear just the trumpet without the goats and Dr. Z, I put the link in the thing. Music from Kulu. You can head over to this gentleman's channel, and he does these wonderful trumpet meditations, which I put on here from time to time. And to me, that is kind of the thing. Fasting space. If you're having a struggle getting through it, but you want to move through it, can some beautiful notes like that help to pass the time? Get through that wave. That's kind of the idea with a session like this, longer session too. Dial in on the mindset. Say it's something that can pass the time. Fasting space, the whole live sessions is why we have a period of time where we can get through it if you need help with it. Really, I want fasting space. What I want this to be, I want it to be a resource. I want it to be thinking that can help us through that space. It helps me through the space. I know, just all the thinking, the ideas. And I've done it, with my own thing sometimes where I was like, I really want to open up this space, but if I'm not feeling it, throw on an episode. I've got a very, critique-oriented thing. I'm trying to kill a couple birds with one stone. It's like, I'm just kind of listen to what I am saying. Do I like listening to it? And is it the type of thing that I really find helpful? I usually do. That's why I keep doing it. I generally say, I think this helps. I hope you find it that way. Let me know what your experience is. And do you have ideas of things that would be more helpful? I am all ears for it. Really nice to share this space with you. I hope you are doing well. Have a beautiful weekend. Have a beautiful day whenever you are encountering this. And I will look forward to seeing you back here soon. Have a good one.